Hi, I'm Helen. Thank you for joining me on week 3 of the 6-week planning challenge in your bullet journal. We're nearly halfway there, which is good news. So far we've looked at what you would like to be remembered for and what you would like to have achieved by the end of your life. And we've also completed some honest reflections on our current situation. And I know some people found last week's task really difficult, so thank you for your messages and sharing that with me, that some of you found it quite emotional. And I agree, it can be tough realising how far you are away from your goals, but I kind of think even by recognising this, you're taking a huge step forwards, because you now know how big the gap is and you can start looking at how you're going to plan to reach those goals. And I commented to somebody else on my blog, I definitely believe it's better to have a long way to travel than nowhere to go. So that's my view. It is difficult and it's really hard to see it down on paper when you've still got a long way that you want to progress. So on to this week's challenge. I would like you to have a look back at what you would like to have completed and what you'd like to have achieved by the end of your life, and then start to think, okay, if you're going to achieve this, where do you need to be in 5 years' time? What do you need to have done? And I know that seems a really long way off, but I think if you look back to your life 5 years ago, you can realise really how quickly time passes us by. And these may well change, but they should hopefully still act as a useful guide for you when you're making decisions about how you want to spend your time. And I plan to review mine at least once a year, just to check if this is still what I want to achieve in 5 years' time and if any adjustments need to be made. And the next part, which is hopefully slightly easier, is to think about, okay, what about by this time next year? What do you want to have achieved by then? And I found that much easier to write down because I can visualise a year ahead much more easily than the 5 years. But this really is to just sort of act as a guide to make sure you're heading towards your goals, and this is bringing in those targets a little bit closer. So that's the end of this week's challenge. If you're posting on Instagram, if you can continue using the hashtag journalwithpurpose. On my blog, journalwithpurpose.co.uk, are full details of this week's challenge and the weeks that have come before. And also I've created an inspiration gallery for anybody that's sharing their posts on Instagram. I've just been popping those up there, so if you're short of ideas, there's some really great pages on there for you to have a look at. Thanks ever so much. Until next time. Goodbye.